Rich, thanks for being back with us, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, glad to be here.
So, this is episode 170. We've been doing this for a while. I lost count on how many episodes you've been on. My guess is it's probably in the 20 range, maybe. Somewhere. So we've had you on the podcast quite a bit. Not that you're one of the favorites or anything. We don't play that game here. But
I'm close in proximity.
You really are. That's
it's a short
true.
walk.
That is true. And you bring the octave of our podcast down to a nice base level. But through those podcasts, we've heard bits and pieces of your story, but we've never actually just flat out told your story. And one of the things that I think is super beneficial is that you have a very unique story, and almost like, a story that really goes back to the beginning of Pure Desire, ropes a lot, of Dr. Ted and Diane into it. So I just thought, I think actually we had a listener send in, I would love to hear Rich's story, and great idea, listener. Thank you for that. And so that's what we want to do today.
To go way, way back. So being abused at 4, obviously then I wasn't sure, I didn't know it was a problem, had no idea.
Yeah.
So sexually abused at 4, probably 6 years old, really start masturbating and kind of figuring out what it was at 6. But knew there was this, I already felt this shame behind it, like was this secret. So I knew there was an issue early on. And then it just progressed. I would say I was probably a full-blown sex addict probably by 12. Wow. And then that grew into me abusing my niece. So once that happened.
How old were you at that point?
I was 14.
Okay.
So once that happened, then I knew, I was like, I need help. But then I was like, well, I just did this. I can't tell anybody. So really from 14 to 21, I was pretty much out of control. I was so out of control. Every dime I made, I spent on girls and drinking and just partying. I would work and I'd blow my whole check. I didn't care. I was just the sexual addiction part was only part of it. I was in such a low state of just self-esteem, just in general, wanted to kill myself. I actually wrote a letter and was going to go do it. And I found this place. I was going to drive my car off the cliff and
going out in dramatic fashion.
Oh yeah.
Man, off a cliff.
Yeah.
Wow.
I literally backed. I had a 72 Nova that ran great, never died on me. And I backed it up and there's this part off this cliff and I won't say where. It's here in close to the office here. And I just remember sitting there waiting for traffic to go and it was clear and I gunned it and the car died.
Oh my gosh.
And I was so frustrated that I was like, I can't do anything right. I can't even kill myself.
Oh my gosh.
So then I don't know where I went after that. But that was literally, I had it kind of planned out and, and it was like,
not kind of planned out. You were there.
Yeah.
You had it.
Well, I remember the year. It was actually was in August of 96 during a softball game. My brother asked me a question and I knew the question was coming. And I said, yep. And then I basically told him everything that happened and he goes, okay, that's what he was told.
And your brother is
my brother is a police officer.
Yeah.
Former NFL player, big guy who could just destroy me.
Yeah.
But he showed a lot of grace. And so kind of what kickstarted the healing was some legal issues. And I may have shared that before.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about this again last night, which is pretty humbling or just a blessing that I'm even here. I got sentenced in April 7th, 1997, 10 years of probation. I was facing 49 years in prison. Measure 11 just passed. I was one of the first ones charged under Measure 11 guidelines for a sex crime in Oregon. I'd have 26 years left.
Today.
The thing that really forced me to get into that healing was, and I am so thankful for it. A lot of people, man, that, that's horrible. But for me, I think in two pieces, the number one thing is my brother really stepped in to save my life by confronting me.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great relationship now with my brother, my sister-in-law, and family and stuff like that. So, but it was a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Probably the hardest stuff I'd done in my life by far. Well, I remember, so this is so I've been in Pure Desire for 23, 25, I don't know, since it started.
Yeah.
We said 400 years on
400.
Yeah, he's been leading
podcast.
groups for 400 years.
So I just remember Ted. I remember watching Ted from the pulpit.
Because you grew up at East Hill.
And grew up at East Hill. And just watching him talk about sexual addiction and drinking and all this stuff and knowing I had this in my own life. And then when it all came out, Ted basically grabbed a hold of me and he said, "We got this." And Ted is really, my brother and Ted, outside of family, Ted is the first man I ever trusted in my life. He's never given up on me. He still hasn't given up on me. He still pushes me. And I just remember him telling me that, that he was proud of me. And that he wasn't going to give up on me.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty special when you have somebody that's willing to do whatever they can to help you succeed. And early on, I think I told Ted, I said, my whole goal was through this process, I just wanted to help one guy not do what I did and help save one kid from not getting abused. If I could just reach one person, then, and here we are 400 years later, and then over 1,000 guys, and share my story around the world with men and women and just churches, and it's pretty remarkable. It's just one thing. I don't know if there's just one thing. There's just so many.
Yeah.